Hi everybody, my name is Chris Howe and welcome to the Creative Business Bible. Here are 5 ways that you can instantaneously raise your rates with doing the same amount of work. All it requires is just a bit of a mindset shift, as well as asking a few more questions on each project that you're working on. Tip number 1, welcome to the audit. If you don't know the data, you don't know your business. I want you to answer the following questions. I'm actually going to include a PDF that you can download, so the links are in the description right there. I'm also going to include them on screen. But the essence of the first 3 questions are, what is your current rate or hourly rate? How much do you want to be paid? And what do you think you deserve to be paid? Now I want you to think of a few people that you admire in your field. Name those people, write them down right now. Then I want you to think of how they got to that point in their career. Try reverse engineering how they got to that point. Someone's already walked through the forest with a lantern, follow in their footsteps. Now I want you to think, what value do you provide? And what is your unique selling proposition? What makes you different from everybody else that's a videographer or a graphic designer? Now I want you to think of, what problems are you trying to solve for your clients? You're not just providing a service, you're ultimately trying to fix a problem that they have. Now comes the fun part. I want you to think about your dream client and your dream project. Who are they? Write those down. And who are the decision makers that will ultimately hire you? Find those people. Now is some time for some self-reflection. Drop your ego for a quick second. Be very real with yourself. Why are you not getting these jobs? And be honest. And the last question, what is one thing that you can start doing to increase your value? Maybe if you're an editor, you can start to learn how to use After Effects so you can increase the production value of your edits. I know it seems a little silly to ask yourself these questions, but I wish I had done this audit earlier, because I think if I had noticed the weak points in my business, I could have increased my value and started charging more money earlier. Tip number 2, the agency approach. So over the last couple years in my experience of running a creative business, I've noticed that clients like to come to us to get everything done at once, rather than going out and hiring someone to do videography and then another person to do photos and then another person to do design. They just want to go to one place and get it all done. And I know what you're thinking right now, Chris, I'm just trying to focus on one creative skill set so I can get good at that job first. That's my impression of you. You're doing great, don't worry. But here's a little hack. If you have a friend that is good at graphic design and another friend that's good at photography, another person that's good at video editing, another person that's good at marketing, reach out to those people so that you can start selling yourself as a collective or as an agency. Basically, you can refer work to them, they can refer work to you, or you can just work all together and start selling one big package to bigger clients. Sometimes these people aren't the easiest to find. If you didn't go to school for this, maybe you don't already have this type of network, but you can hire people off of Fiverr, Upwork, or freelancer.com, or you can go on Instagram and start searching for people in your local community who can offer these services. It's also like a global community now, so you can pretty much hire anybody from around the world and you can still be that agency that offers this entire thing. You're just gonna have to manage it. But also, if you guys wanna network right now, drop your name, your profession, and where you're from in the comment section below, and let's network and let's build a bunch of agencies from around the world. Now, based on my YouTube analytics, most of you are bored by this point and you're about to click off, but don't do it yet. If you want 8 more tips on how to raise your rates as a creative person, I have a free course on my website. It's absolutely free. I will leave a link in the description. You'll get 10 days of a note every single day to raise your rates. Free. Tip number 3, build an actual budget and estimate. You need to make a clear budget for the project and then provide an estimate. So step 1 is you're going to jump on a call with your client and you're going to ask them what their vision for the project is. Then step 2 is you're going to start building a budget and go line by line for every single thing that project needs in order to have their vision come to life. You're going to start asking questions like, does it require talent? Does it require color grading? How many days of shooting? How many days of editing? This is if you're building a video, by the way. It'd obviously be different if you're doing a different creative project, but you get the point. Start going line item by line item so you can build an actual budget and know exactly how much it's going to cost. If you need a list of questions to ask your client when you're on the phone call with them, I will leave a screening checklist in the description below that you can go and purchase off of my website. Pro tip, creative companies or agencies typically charge anywhere from 20 to 25% on top of the final budget for being the company that packages it all together. So let's say your final number is $1,000. Your company will charge $1,250 to the client, and you will make an additional $250 on top of the services that you will provide. Step number 3 is when you prepare an estimate. Now, what is the difference between a budget and an estimate? Well, the budget is something that you keep track of, and an estimate is actually client facing. This is where you prepare it so it's easy for the client to understand everything that they're buying. This way, you can pitch your client in the most professional and trustworthy way possible. If this is new to you and you don't know how to build a budget or prepare an estimate or find a template online, we literally have built one for you. Lizzie and I are providing the exact budget and estimate template that we used in our creative business to sell clients like Mercedes-Benz and Corona and all these other companies. You can go and purchase it in the links below for only $40. Tip number 4, creative licensing. Creative licensing is basically just a fancy way to say that you're giving permission to another company to use your piece of content for a specific time and or usage for an additional fee. Low-key, I'll be completely honest with you, I didn't know about creative licensing until like 3 or 4 years into my career. And it wasn't until I had like a professional client reach out and say, we love the video. We're just wondering what the license would be to have it for an additional 2 years so that we can play it on our website. In my head, I was like, wait, you can charge extra money for this? I was just gonna give it to you for free. But this is actually a really big part of how marketers, videographers, content creators, and editors all make additional money is through creative licensing. And the best part about this is it only requires a little additional work and it's all part of the negotiation process. Here's an example. Let's say you're selling a video project. Here are a few questions that you should be asking your client right now. Where will the video be used? How long will the video be used? Do you want to edit the video? Do you want to prepare it for television and or radio broadcast? These are all things that are additional fees that you need to be considering when you're building out a quote. Now, a big like asterisk and warning signal here is make sure you're just paying attention to your gut when you're working with a specific client. If you're doing a job for like a mom and pop shop, you don't want to be like, is this going to be going on television? Is it going to be prepared? How long do you want to use it for? Like they'll probably just be like,
I don't know what licensing is.
And they'll just move on and hire somebody else. So be very careful when you start bringing these up. Additionally, you can just consider baking in a full buyout into your price. So whatever your final price is, throw an additional $200 in there. That is the license for them to use it for whatever they want. It's when you start getting into the higher echelon of clients that you should be asking these questions so that you don't get taken advantage of. But it's important that you at least think about this process when you're building out a quote. Tip number 5, how to network properly. Now, I want to share a story with you how I was able to go from like $1,000 jobs all the way to $5,000 to $10,000 jobs. So back in the day, I was just doing like $1,000 for a video. I could never find a way to get paid higher than that because ultimately when I was doing $1,000 job, those people would recommend me to other people that could only afford $1,000 for a video. And I was like, how do I get out of this situation? So I signed up for this website at the time. I think it was called Shutterstock, and I had the opportunity to do a project with Mercedes-Benz, but it only paid $300. But I was like, you know what? It's Mercedes-Benz. This will look really, really great on the website. So I went there. I did a really great job. They were so stoked on the final photos for it. I let them know that I typically charge more for it. I was like, I typically charge $2,500 for this type of work. And they were like, it's amazing. We absolutely love this. And I said, would you mind, because we did a discounted rate this time, would you mind recommending me to a few other people in your network that would love this type of work? And that's when I was able to network with higher paid clients because Mercedes-Benz, obviously a higher international company, has friends and other people that are willing to pay that price and or more. And that's how I was able to break out of the $1,000 network and jump into that bigger pond where I could get $2,500, $5,000, $10,000 for a photo shoot. Another question that you should be asking your client is have them provide a testimonial for your website. Get them to write something really nice so that now you have their name and their testimonial on your website, because the moment somebody sees a company like Mercedes-Benz or a higher paying client, they look at that company and they trust that brand. And if that brand trusts you, they can trust you to do the exact same job. And then they see the testimonial. It's a win-win. It's leverage to start selling to higher paying clients. If you guys want 5 more tips on how to raise your rates, I have a free course called 10 Days to Raise Your Rates. Sign up for it in the links below on my website. And you also get a free sample pack of all my presets and motion graphic templates and everything else. Free course, free assets. It's a great thing. If you guys want to learn how to grow your following on Instagram, I will leave a link to that video right here. Go and check it out. If you grow your following, you might make some more money. Look at all these tips. Look at it, you're loaded now. A tip, please.